Robert Durko. Now, briefly, Robert, as you might have read in his short bio, is a graduate from the University of Western Ontario, majoring in psychology. A personal note with Robert is that in 2009 and 10, I went to a meditation course for 6 months, and Robert was our fellow student at that time, and I got to know him quite well. He continued he became an instructor now at the Willpower Institute, just here in Richmond Hill. He's got tremendous amount of knowledge, and I'm thankful that he has agreed to come and share his knowledge with all of us. Meditation, Robert, please.
Yes. Hello, I'm Robert. I'm a meditation instructor with the Willpower Institute, and I've come here just to share a little bit about meditation. It's an interesting segue from what we just listened to with the 7 C's and Wimpy. I'm definitely going to be remembering that one for sure, because it's definitely the spirit or the essence of what I am trying to do every day with my life. And meditation is really a big component to embracing the 7 C's. We're human beings. We have a lot of things going on in our life. You know, some things can be major and some things can be minor. But for you as the individual is what is important, what matters. It's how you perceive things, what the mind is doing in every moment. So today what I'll do is just give you a little bit of a background into meditation and what we do and what we teach. We have a course that we teach for 5 months. It's a very committed course, but it gives you a lot of insight into what meditation is. So I'm just going to briefly discuss that. As you can see, we have an illustration on the monitor showing different parts of the brain when you meditate. And I just have a few notes that I want to talk about with meditation. So we look at the mind and we understand it in certain ways. We have what we call the ordinary mind, our everyday mind, you know, when you're just working and doing general activities. You have a mind that rests, that sleeps. You have a mind that can then tap into different states of consciousness. And this is where sometimes it can get a bit confusing or a little bit unaware or unsure of what is happening with the mind in those states. So I'd just like to read about the ordinary mind and emotions. You know, emotions are with us all the time, and they can have different scales of impact in the way we relate to our well-being, how we feel and why we feel. So when you look at emotions, how do emotions affect the ordinary mind? An ordinary mind obtains happiness and grief through emotion. It means both happiness and grief are regularly embedded into the emotion. Therefore, the mind is always transformed or affected by the emotion. So this emotional energy that we carry within the mind is impacting your well-being on a moment-to-moment basis. The nature of our mind prefers happiness over grief. This is obvious. We do things in our life for our children's life, for our friends, our enemies. We want to obtain happiness. This is obvious. We all want this in life. When happiness is obtained by the emotion, the mind attempts to fill and sustain this desirable state. So it's something we want to hold on to. We want happiness to be spread through. We do this with our children. We do this with our lives. We do this for everything and anything because it has a lot of value. But the emotion is not capable of sustaining everlasting happiness. Happiness is an attainment of desire. Desire is succession in possession of assets, social status, and relationships which have an impermanent quality to them. An ordinary and natural mind is inevitably overwhelmed by both happiness and grief obtained by the emotion. So this emotional quality, its instability, does not give us permanence. It's wavering, it's up and down. We need to find some balance and harmony through this. So, how does meditation fix this problem? Meditation is a method of correcting natural flaws, like wrong perceptions, and improving an ordinary mind. Meditation eliminates emotion and attaches the mind to an emotionless existence. As soon as the emotion is eliminated, the meditator will perceive an extraordinary happiness. He will feel light in his mind and full of courage to sacrifice for others. So, this sacrifice for others, obviously, in this room, this is an important quality to have. We want compassion, as we heard about, compromise. When we're sacrificing things for our family, for ourselves, we're doing it in a way that can create a lot of emotions, that can create a lot of instability. We need to take a responsibility for ourselves and for others by nurturing this quality of mind. Even though meditation does not eliminate emotion permanently, it does reduce stress, correct and control the mind, which promotes happiness. Meditation can fine-tune the foundation of the mind and strengthen its condition. It promotes happiness and peacefulness within families, societies, the country, and the global community. Meditation is a path to consciousness in everyday life. So, one way we can kind of relate to meditation, and I've used this before in our course, is when you think of prayer, we say prayer is speaking to God. Meditation is listening to God. It's an opportunity to receive rather than to give. It's an opportunity to sit in this tranquility, in this sense of peacefulness, where you're allowing information to come in an honest, pure, genuine way, with no filter. It's purely coming in the essence that it needs to, and you can receive it wholeheartedly as it needs to. This is a wonderful place to be. It's a strong foundation because it gives you clarity of mind. It gives you the ability then to commit with consciousness, with a feeling of strength, of wisdom, support. It's very beautiful. It's a beautiful way to integrate your life with the practice. It can enrich your life and enrich your spirituality with your faith. It's very beautiful. So we have in the course, we teach about the mind in 4 ways. We have what's called the natural meditative mind. We have the manifested meditative mind. We have what's called the insubstantial meditative mind. And we have what's called the substantial meditative mind. Now, we spend a lot of time explaining these different states in the course. But what's important to be aware of in these different states is natural meditative mind is something that we use when we're engaged in a task, such as school, work, writing a book, reading a book. This is what we call natural meditative mind. You're concentrating on something. You're trying to learn something. The concept of this, though, that you have to be aware of is you're consuming energy. We call it mind power when you're engaged in a natural activity. So there's benefit in engaging with energy. However, you have to be aware of this energy being utilized. It's being consumed. Now you may ask, okay, well, I'm consuming energy. How do I get the energy back? Well, you get the energy back primarily from the natural state through sleep. There are windows in sleep before you just pass into the sleeping state of rest in your mind, where you start to accumulate the mind power back. However, there's something that is now overwhelming us in today's society. We're being overburdened with too much information, too much concentration. Our minds are just on one thing to the next. You got a phone, you're looking at something. Someone's trying to talk to you. You have images, you have sounds, you're driving. There is so much your mind is being busy with. The sleep now is not enough. It's not able to replace the energy sufficiently anymore. We used to have a better lifestyle in society where we were more balanced. We would rest, we would work, we would have some communion, talk with our family and friends, but it was more of a peaceful way of being. Now it's so energized, so charged with learning and discovering and doing and traveling. Our mind is so overwhelmed and taxed with these things. So this is where meditation becomes more relevant in today's society. It is something that we all need to embrace, just for our own well-being. So we then get into what's called the manifested meditative state of mind, where you're actually engaging in a practice of meditation for a period of time. We say that the best period of time is anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour per day. However, when you start, it's better to have a shorter duration. The reason why you want to have meditation in your life is because when you do a manifested state of meditation where you're trying to concentrate the mind on something, is you start to accumulate mind power. You become more efficient at having more energy in the mind that then can also help with your sleep. You become more restful, more relaxed, more peaceful, more ready and engaged to handle the conflicts of life. So what is required in order to acquire an efficient meditative mind? The meditation procedure must be systematic and consistent. Daily practice, proper technique, follow the minimums, the maximums. Disordered procedures may still have some value, but the results will vary accordingly. So again, it's about accumulating mind power. The energy, having sufficient energy, the well-being you feel. Your body, is it energized? Is it strong? Is it healthy? Is your mind positive? Is it thinking of ways to overcome obstacles? Is it being open to the possibilities? Is it flexible? These are things that matter to us all. And so working with this in these different states is so beneficial. We also teach in the course when you are in meditation, as you get good at meditation, which you can as if you practice it and get diligent with it, you'll start to have different experiences in meditation, which then we get into what's called the insubstantial meditative mind and the substantial meditative mind. These are different states of consciousness. In these different states of consciousness, you also have to be aware of whether you're accumulating mind power or whether you're consuming mind power. This is something that is very significant in understanding your own mind and the energy that you can bring forth to go deeper into consciousness, or realize, oh, this is a state of mind where I have to be careful. I have to be responsible. Just as when you are in your daily waking life, you are a responsible human being. You are careful with your actions and thoughts. You are aware of these things. Well, it is no different in meditation, because your mind can go off into different states of feeling and states of trance or things that can come into the mind that are unfamiliar. Well, you have to then know what to do in those states and be very responsible of how you're using that energy. And this is what we teach. We want people to understand so they can empower themselves, so they can have a sense of well-being and they can do good things in the world, do good things for themselves, for their community, to be a good neighbor, to help and trust in this energy that they always have, that they've always been given as a gift. This is our true gift. You know, this is how we excel in this world, and this is how we create harmony and peace within ourselves and others. So, I just want to finish off with some of the benefits of meditation. So what are some of the benefits you can expect to experience from meditation? 1, it promotes a sound sleep and anxiety-free. Number 2, it eliminates illnesses. It brightens wisdom. It promotes carefulness. It restrains cruelty. It reduces stress. It promotes extraordinary happiness. It promotes a gentle mind. Changes attitudes. Directs a dying person to a peaceful path and serenity. Prospers virtue and good fortune. Promotes merit. Promotes well-being, joyfulness, generosity, and compassion. Thank you very much.